Hello from the other side. At least I can say I've tried to tell you I'm sorry. But whenever I called, you're never at home. Hello from the other side. Hello. And big shout out to the old subscribers, to the new subscribers. Big shout out to the doctors, the bakers, the candlestick makers. Shout out and good evening to the lawyers, to the teachers, to the welders, to the cleaners. Big shout out, I say, to everybody. Shout out to everybody who is alive and who is happy to be alive, because we have so much to be thankful for. And don't get me started. Just big shout out to everybody. Welcome to our channel another time. We are all here. We have made it. It's Friday. So we are happy. Shout out, and I'm saying hello again to everybody. Destiny Squad. Who remembers the when corresponding with people used to come, I'm talking about people overseas, used to be a thing where you have to write a letter, post the letter, wait another 2 weeks for the person to respond before you can know exactly what the answer is. Who remember as well when getting your money in the bank used to entails you having a bank book, an actual bank book where you have to go into the bank, you have to get into the queue, get into the line, and whenever you take out any money, that would be printed in the book. Whenever you deposit any money, that would be deposited in the book as well. Who remember those days? Honestly, my tired is just tired even remembering or even talking about those days. And of course, we are talking about, whether or not technology has actually caused an increase in, fraud. Is it responsible for it? But, let us just look into it. Nowadays, instead of the letters that I'm talking about, there came the mobile phones. Now it's all about Facebook, contacting people on Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. So no longer do we have to wait those long time, 2 weeks. For some people, it's even like a month between, right? No longer do we have to wait. And then came that, so that's it for the letters. Then came the ATM machine. Then came where we no longer need the bank book. Instead, we are given cards and we can access everything. Now we can send money. Then came Western Union and all the rest. All of that has to do with technology. But what we're looking at is whether or not, technology is good, whether we can balance it, look at the good, look at the different, split the difference to see exactly if there are more good than bad when it comes on to technology. Again, I know some people would say, yes, with technology, of course, we did not have scamming as much as we have it now. But I'm going to say, ladies, look, you cannot meet somebody online who lives in Timbuktu. They ask you for some money and you just wire money to them without even knowing them. Girl, bye. That is not scamming. That is you willfully sending your money. But then, that was just a joke. But of course, I know that some people have been scammed online. So we are going to have a look at, some of the things that we can actually do to protect ourselves. And I also have a case where, I actually got an email from a lady who, was telling me her story as well. And as a matter of fact, before I go any further, I am going to start a segment where we actually can tell our stories. So if you have like a story that you would like us to discuss, if you have a story, if you have a topic that you want us to discuss, because of course we are a family. Of course, I'm going to put my email address in the comment section when I am finished with this video. But I can tell you what it is. It is destinishp2@gmail.com. But what like I've said, I am actually going to put that in the comment section when I am finished. So I think before we actually look at the good and the bad of technology, I think I'm going to get the lady's story out of the way, and then we can get into everything else, because I don't want to forget her story. You know what, ladies, too many times, you're hearing these similar stories, and we have to be careful. And it's not just ladies, men as well are find themselves in sticky situations that involve, sending money to someone who they have met online. So you know what? If the good thing about technology as well is that you can actually hear each other's story, learn from each other, know how to protect yourself. So this lady has told her story, and it is in the hope that other people will learn. So here we go. So this lady is living in Canada, and her email says, in 2018, I started communicating with a guy in Jamaica. He slid into my DM on Instagram initially, telling me how much he likes my photos. I told him thanks, and we started talking from there. He made me feel good about myself. I am 7 years his senior, but neither of us mind. After 1 week, he asked for my number and I gave it to him. So we started communicating through WhatsApp. He told me that he was a taxi driver and that he was also planning to open a little cook shop one day. He sounded very ambitious and loving. At first, he would call me every other day, and this made me feel good. But after 4 weeks, he told me that he sometimes do not make a lot of money and cannot always put credit on his mobile phone. Right there, people, alarm bells start ringing for me when I hear that. I offered to send some money every month to help out, as I was benefiting from it too. One day when he called, he sounded really down, and I asked him what was wrong. He said that the taxi was off the road and he didn't know when it was going to be back on the road because he cannot find the amount of money the mechanic is charging to fix the car. I asked how much it would cost and he said 80,000 Jamaican dollars. I believed him and could afford the money, so I sent him the money. 2 months later, he said that he was planning to sell the car and buy a better one because the taxi was really giving trouble. I again offered to help, but this time I told him that I wanted him to operate it like a business for both of us. And he agreed. I was planning to visit Jamaica in the December, so I was thinking that I would see the car anyway. I sent him $540,000 to a bank account that he gave me. Ladies, ladies, ladies. He confirmed that he got the money, but from that day that he confirmed that he got the money, and from that day, I have not been able to contact him. Seriously. The mobile number no longer works, and his Instagram account is no longer there. I checked Facebook as well, and he is not there. I was so embarrassed that I never told anyone at the time. I am now talking about it because I want other women to be careful of long distance relationship, because I truly thought that mine was going somewhere. We were even planning to meet up in Jamaica, but now I realize that it all was all lies and a scam. I am thinking, was it really a scam though? What do you think? I'm looking at it and I'm saying, was it really a scam? And why I'm saying that is that when I got this email, I went over it again and again. Why I had to do it? Because I actually wanted to see if he had at any point asked this lady for any money. And I noticed that both times she was the one who actually offered to give the guy money. Whether or not, it doesn't matter whether or not she thought that she was in a relationship. Because to be honest with you, I am not sure if you can really be in a relationship until you actually, I don't know, that is just me. Well, for me, long distance relationship would not work for me. That's just my preference, right? But I get that she was planning to actually go and meet this guy. But ladies, you have to be careful. How can you part with your hard-earned money? And I'm not just talking about ladies, because it has happened to men as well. How can you part with your hard-earned cash when you have not even met the person as yet? Right? I would think that, all of that would come after you have met the person. Then, you both decide if it's going to go somewhere, if you have the right chemistry before you actually start, partying with your money like that. But you know what? I'm happy that this lady said that, look, she has learned her lesson. That happened in 2018, and now she has healed. She only wants people to be aware of it, that, sometimes long distance relationship don't work. Now she is saying that, that came as a result of technology. Because if it was not, if technology did not come around, then of course, it would have been through letters. Perhaps, I don't think that perhaps people would not even have met. Because if you remember back then, I don't know how many of you remember writing pen pals, right? And sometimes like relationships like that would have started by, one family member introducing somebody, and that's how it would have started. But in all honesty, I do not see that as a scam. And I know that, some of my Destiny family perhaps will disagree with me. But when I think of a scam, look, it is, you know what? To be honest with you, no, it's not a scam. It's not a scam. I think that if he had actually, asked her for the money, then I would say, yes, that's a scam. But she willingly, on both occasions, actually offered to help. And if you're offering to help somebody, then of course, it would mean that you you are probably, you can afford it, and you are in a way just giving the person. I understand that she was investing, but that's, it doesn't work that way. But still, ladies, just to be on the lookout, men as well, that sometimes you have to be careful. And of course, I probably will give some ideas, some you know some little ways of preventing that as well as we go along. So we say that technology, many people would say that if it wasn't for technology, if you look at it, a lot of good happen, but they are also bad when it comes on to technology. So with every good invention, there is also the bad that can come. So good comes out of it, but bad can also come out of it. Because when you look into it, simple things that we probably take for granted, it is as a result of technology why they are around now. So nowadays you have even the washing machine, you have the dryer, because first time before that, a lot of people, it was washing with your hands, and some people still wash with their hands, and still there are some little delicate clothes that you actually cannot put in a washing machine anyway. When we think of technology, you have to think of refrigerators as well, cars. So you no longer do you have to just move around on horses, move around on donkeys. Now you have cars. And the good thing about technology is that it's always improving. So first you had just the ordinary petrol, diesel cars. Now we are talking about electric vehicle. We are talking about aircrafts as well. That is technology. You're talking about the computers. We're talking about the internet, the mobile phones as well. That has to do with technology. So you can see that, yes, even though some people are using technology the wrong way, right? You can see that still technology has its place. Because of technology, you have the safer management of our money. Of course, I'm going to say the good, but I know that based on what is happening now, of course, there is a bad. So, of course, because of money, like I've said, you're able to just wire money across to people in different countries. You don't need to go into the bank to form a long queue anymore. And of course, the bad thing is that because of technology, when it comes on to like the banking system, you have a lot of bank people who have actually lost their jobs. So that is one bad thing about technology. For every good, there is a bad. Also, because of technology, when it comes on to the way banking is done nowadays, remember, you will only need to remember that at the moment, Usain Bolt has lost some money. Well, the case is being investigated. He has lost the money 100%. The money is not in his account. But of course, from what I've heard, some FBI from the United States is currently in Jamaica, and they're trying to actually get to the bottom of that. I've also seen where I think it's a NCB former worker was involved in, I think it was like some financial ring, and she has actually allegedly she has defraud she was involved in a fraud racket, and she defrauded the institution of nearly 330,000 US, or so 30,000 US dollar, let me repeat that, or Jamaican 5 million from the account of one customer. So some people would say, perhaps the temptation would have been less, because they know that people would have just a bank book, and the book would have every transaction that goes in and go out. So of course the discrepancy would be easy to pick up if it was still those days. But look at how far things have come. Think about the good and you realize that yes, with all of these systems, the good is there. It's just that people actually are using it for bad things. Because of technology as well, there is fast and easy data retrieval. You just need to think about, the storage, how you store information nowadays. Everything, a lot of things are on the computer. So technology first had the typewriter. Now we have moved on to the computers. And you have to admit that a lot of us actually depend on our little laptop. We depend, most of the workplaces, almost all of the workplaces, to be fair, actually use computers one way or another, because it's more efficient, and of course it just gets the job done quicker. But the same thing, at the same thing, say on this other hand, because of technology, because of the use of computers and the internet, people actually lose their job just the same, because you realize that what you needed 5 people to do, you know, you have, because of the assistance of technology, you don't need that many people. Also, because of technology, because of computers, you actually have long distance training. So not everybody needs to go into the traditional classroom anymore to access, to get a course, to get the qualification anymore, right? So that is one good thing as well about technology. The bad thing is that because of that, I can see where some teachers, perhaps you will not need as many lecturers as possible as we have today if this trend continues. Because first time, people used to have to come into the classroom. And when I'm talking about the type of technology that I'm talking, the type of long distance learning that I'm talking about, it's not for primary and secondary or even A level. I'm talking about university courses. So what you find is that for courses that can be done through long distance training, you can see where the university actually will benefit, because all you need is one tutor, one lecturer, and that lecturer will be conducting the class online to people all over the world. So you can see why, things are moving in that direction, and why technology is good in one way, but of course it is bad in another way. Technology has improved a more effective advertising option. The biggest thing as well, I would say one of the greatest invention ever, is the internet. Well, that's quite a few. Anything to do with communication. I would say the internet, computer, mobile phone, or just, house telephone on a whole. I think those, I'm going to say arguably, because this is what I think. I think that those are like three of the greatest inventions ever. Because, with the internet, knowledge is so accessible. Just like we are here now. I don't know how many of you. For me, if I'm cooking something for the first time, it is quite easy. It is so convenient for me to just go on YouTube. I can say almost everything that you need is can be found on the internet. You probably will need somebody to break it down for you, or perhaps you will need someone to bring it to your attention to say that it comes under a certain topic. But to be honest with you, through social media, Google, everything, MSN, everything, on every topic that you can think about is on the internet. It can be found on the internet. It can be found on the internet or social media, right? So that is the good thing about, that the communication network. The bad thing is that because of this communication network and the information that is available out there, children are exposed to so much. So cyberbullying is out there. They're exposed to the dark web. So certain information that you would not want them to have access to, because of the internet, you cannot keep them away from it. And it can really be dangerous as well. So that is the bad part about the internet as well, or the means of communication. One of the negatives about technology as well. Would I say that the good outweighs the bad when it comes on to technology? I would say it is for you to decide, because of course there are some bad about technology as well. I don't know how many of you have ever been at work or anywhere and you realize that because we have become so dependent on technology, if the system goes down, it's as if nobody knows what to do anymore, because you have become so dependent on technology, where to the extent where if the system goes down, the work stops, right? So that is the negatives of technology. So perhaps if with technology, people are learning to use just to do things by the technology, using technology. Perhaps alongside the technology, if we teach people to do the same job the manual way as well as a backup, then perhaps that will take care of the shortfall of technology. There are some negatives, some disadvantages. I've spoken about some already, but just so that we can put it out there that there are some bad, negatives to technology. There is the increased risk of job cuts, like I have said, closure of high street stores. Of course, this is where the online shopping comes into place. The online shopping is good in that, it assists globalization, in that we are able to actually get products from all over the world. And because of that, a lot of the things we are able to actually get them at a cheaper rate as well. Because if you should have like a store, a walk-in store, you have to think about electricity, you have to think about staffing, you have to think about the salary and everything like that. You have to think about even renting the space as well. But because of technology, the cost is cut down. You don't need to think about a lot of staff, right? Sometimes just one person is actually operating that online store. Because of the savings that the people are able to make by not having like that walk-in store, they are able to pass on some of that savings to the consumers, to the customers, and that is why they are able to sell all those products. That's why you're able to get products at a cheaper rate when you actually purchase them online. So that's the good of technology. But the bad thing is that everybody is being forced to go online, right? To get up to date with technology. And technology is not very easy, especially to the older heads. It's not that easy, to actually get up to speed. You still have some people who don't know how to use the internet, for example. And unfortunately, those are the people who are more prone to being scammed, right? So you have the good, you actually have the bad, but there are still some things that we can actually do to protect ourselves. So one of the another thing about the bad about technology is that security in relation to data risk in relation to data and fraud. And of course, we don't need to talk. Every day we hear about fraud happening, So in some places you hear they talk about chopping, And for some people, they actually like see it as a career where that is actually how they make their money. But like I've said, technology, you just need to think about, medicine. Look what technology has done, has caused. You now have a lot of research going on, and of course those will actually help in the treatments that we actually get, the cure of certain diseases and so forth. So when you think of it, technology, there is more good to technology. The bad that is there, that is where we need now to learn how to protect ourselves. As a matter of fact, just someday this week, I actually went through, I actually taught or through, I don't know how many people know what is known as tutorial. So tutorial is where we don't necessarily teach the vocation. For me, I teach at a college, a lecturer, business subjects, etc. As a matter of fact, somebody was saying to me, if you are a business person, why don't you come and, tell us certain things about business as well? Well, that is to come when I put certain things together. Every now and then I will drop some business nuggets, etc. Right? So that is to come. Of course, I will incorporate that as well. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to look at some of the negatives, and of course, I'm going to read what we can do to actually protect ourselves. So some of the negatives when it comes on to technology, the internet, we're talking about mobile, the internet itself, because it's mainly over the internet. People are prone to online shopping fraud. That is where sometimes that those websites are not genuine. So you may have parted with your money expecting to get the product when it does not turn up. I'm going to say, how you can protect yourself. Identity theft is something that you are exposed to as well when you shop when you are online. As a matter of fact, on Wednesday of this week, I actually relate a story, a case where there is actually a new type of scamming that is going around. So, of course, if you have not yet seen it, the live stream, the video that I did on Wednesday, when you're finished, just check it out. There is internet, email, and mobile phone fraud, holiday and ticketing fraud. Honestly, the holiday and ticketing fraud, I have to say that I know that this is genuine because I have fallen victim, to this one, the holiday and ticketing fraud. It happened probably 13, 14 years ago. I've gotten over it. I was out of pocket close to £3,000. I actually turn up at probably I should just tell you. So what happened? I was looking for some cheap tickets. As we do, we shop around and we try to get things done cheap, on the cheap, right? So I was looking for some tickets. When I went on the internet, I saw a deal. Look, guys, if it sounds too good to be true, honestly, it is usually it's usually not true. So if it sounds too good to be true, it is not true, right? And I learned the hard way. Now, after parting with my money through what I thought was a genuine agent online, I actually, when I asked for the airline tickets, he told me that I actually would get the tickets when I get to the airport. Of course, I went to the airport, and when they log in my details, they told me that nothing is there for them. So I was saying, but I actually paid for it. They asked me who did I did the booking through. When I told them, they actually said that there was nothing they could do about it because it was not booked. The booking was not done directly through, through the right channel. I had to turn home, go back home. I was not planning to spend Christmas in the UK at the time, and I had to remain in the UK out of pocket close to £3,000. Of course, when it happened at the time, I was sad. I was distraught not just for myself, because some things, I am like the type of person who will see the glass half full. I will see the good side of to everything, right? But I was distraught for my children at the time because I was only going with my children at the time. I was distraught for them because, of course, they were all excited, going on holidays. We packed our suitcases. We weren't going to be in the UK for Christmas. And lo and behold, we turned up at the airport only to hear that, look, it was a scam and we had to turn back home. So these things are happening, but luckily, I'm older and I'm wiser, and I'm going to tell you exactly give you some ideas of how to actually, protect yourself and protect your loved one. So identity fraud, guys, identity fraud is real, it's a genuine thing. So you have to learn exactly how to protect yourself. So some of you will say, but how do they get your information? Remember that, especially if you vote, right? When you vote, your name will actually appear on the voters register. So sometimes you think that your address is not out there, but bits and pieces of your information is out there. One way of protecting yourself as well is to ensure that you invest in a shredder. In the UK, we actually have recycling bins different. So we do not put all our rubbish, we do not put all our garbage in one bag. Recycling is different. You put the paper, the cardboards in one. So it is very easy for someone to know that they only need to go through the recycling, the recycling container, or even if they go to the recycling plant. So what you need to do is to ensure that you shred important documents. When you're putting stuff, sometimes you get like your mail, you get your letters. Be sure that before you dispose of even the envelope, that you shred or you take off your address and your name. So any personal information, you actually need to keep them close to you so that you actually don't, fall victim to identity fraud. Because sometimes, when it comes on to identity fraud, it is not that they get all the information in one go. They'll get a bit of information one time. Elsewhere they go, they get another bit of information about you. And, you see, even social media, guys, even when it comes on to Facebook and so forth, you have to be careful of the information that you put there. Because, some unknowingly, you could be giving out certain information, that people can use to piece the puzzle itself, right? So you have to be careful. When it comes on to your bank accounts, because identity theft, sometimes your bank card is what is being targeted as well. So be extremely wary of unsolicited calls, letters, or emails from your bank or other financial institution asking you to confirm your personal details, your password, or your security numbers. Never give your password to anybody. That is what I would always say. When it comes on to the phone, sometimes you will have people calling up to tell you that you have won something. you have to be wise, you have to be smart. I know that times are hard and everybody would like to actually come into some money the easy way, the quick way. But there's no way somebody can ring you up to tell you that you have won something. And in order to get the prize, you will have to pay a fee. If it sounds too good to be true, guys, usually it is not true. Never reply to unsolicited text messages. Even to get them stopped, simply delete them. And in saying that as well, some have actually sent some scamming actually send you a link in the email, send a link in the text message or anything like that. For me, I do not click on links. I have no need to click on links. If, as a matter of fact, if the email is coming from an unrecognized source, I just delete, forget it, right? Because of course, in some cases, what they can do is actually access the instrument that you are using. So, on your mobile phone, there are some informations that you store there. So if, as a result of clicking on the link, right, there is certain virus that actually can take up your system, certain things that will allow your information to be, to be exposed to them, then of course, that's something you need to protect yourself against as well. So that's for identity theft. Another thing, when it comes on to your computer, you need to keep your computer security programs such as antivirus and firewall up to date. Make sure that your web browser and operating system are the latest version. Be wary of clicking on links in unsolicited emails. So that is something that I have said as well. If you're making a transaction online, be sure to use a secure site. Usually a website will start with HTTP, but a secure website should start with HTTPS. So be very careful. As well, talking about the shopping. If you're shopping online as well, to protect yourself, what you need to do as well is to ensure that you protect yourself. Let me calm down. Do not use your cards on every and any website. There are two things that you can do. You can either use your credit card or you can have a debit card specifically for shopping online. So on the debit card that you have for shopping online, be sure that you do not keep a lot of money on it, so that if you're going to lose money, at least it's not going to be a lot. A lot of people, I do it as well. What I do is that I just set up like a PayPal account. So when I'm purchasing things online, I just pay through PayPal. In that way, I do not need to be entering my card details, on the different websites. In doing that, you actually, minimize your card details, the different places that it actually goes. So these are just some of the ways that you can actually protect yourself. Let me see if I have missed out anything in protecting yourself. No, I think I have covered everything. So yes, these are the ways that you can protect yourself. So going back to the question, is technology contributing to the number of fraud that we are seeing? I would say technology in the wrong hands is what is contributing to the fraud, online fraud that you're actually seeing. Also, minimum knowledge or no knowledge of the use of the internet of the use of technology. When I'm talking about the mobile phones, I'm talking about the internet as well. I'm talking about computers. I would say not knowing how to protect yourself, not knowing certain guidelines so as not to give out like your password to people over the telephone or anything like that, not setting password for yourself, not double checking with your bank when you get any suspicious, calls saying that they're calling from the bank, not double checking. Those are ways that people actually fall victim to all these fraud and all these scams. So these are what I wanted to bring to your attention. And of course, I hope that you have learned something. In my next live, I see something that happened in Jamaica quite recently as well. And I want to actually touch on that in the next live that I will be doing. As a matter of fact, I probably will be doing more lives more often, or more, I would say, if it's not a live, I will do the video and then I will post it. I want to address topics, as soon as they actually appear or as soon as I become aware of them. So in Jamaica, quite recently, a guy actually went down to, I think it was to bury his mom, and his brother actually ended up killing him because over deadlift, what we call deadlift. So what my next live is going to be on is deadlift, whether or not it is worth fighting over, right? So look out for that one over the weekend as well. I think I'm feeling fit. I'm in a good mood. So of course I want to do an exercise video. So you can come back for that as well over the weekend. Until I upload another video, I am going to say take care of yourselves, guys. Always be grateful. Remember that today is a present. It's a present to be grateful for. Yesterday is in the past, right? So there's nothing for you. Whatever you have done in the past that you were not happy about, let it go. Think of ways to build, to improve. Tomorrow is not promised to anybody, but today is the present. Celebrate, always do something, be thankful for life, and put yourself best. Be thankful to the Almighty. All the best, guys. Take care of yourselves. Bye.